Hey there. I just wanted to go over a few things in terms of what is it you really need to know for this lesson and the unit circle questions you're asking and the trig ratios using coordinates. So the one thing that you should get out of it is that um, we have two special triangles. The first one is your 45 and 45. This doesn't really look like 45. But it is always 1 root 2. So that's your 45 degrees. The other triangle does your 30, 60, and it is always 1, 2 as the hypotenuse, root 3. And the 30 is here, and the 60 is here. So I always kind of remember those. When it comes to the unit circle, these are the triangles that they're kind of looking at, and they're looking at it in the 4 different quadrants. So the first, and it's called the cast rule. There's tons of videos about the cast rule. I think that I have one. I'll try and find that one for you as well. But essentially, what they're doing is, let's say we want to do 45 degrees. They're setting it up here, and they're setting it as 1, 1, and root 2. So when they're talking about using the unit circle to figure it out, all they're doing is using this as their what they're using. And then over here, like in this quadrant, they'll set it up. This would be negative 1, 1, but it's still root 2. So it's still on that circle, but notice how this is now a negative 1. So any trig ratio that uses that side is now, instead of being positive, now it's negative. That's where the cast rule comes in. And they call it cast because down here only cos is positive, sine and tan are negative. Here all of them are positive. That's between 0 and 90 degrees. This is 180, and this is 270, and then back around to 360. So between 270 and 360, only cos is positive. The other two are negative. All from 0 to 90, sine, cos, and tan are all positive, and you'll notice it because we have all positive numbers there. 90 to 180, just sine is positive, and down here just tan is positive. So that kind of helps out if you're trying to figure out where you are. Now, I'll go right to the point because I think that's one of the questions you were asking is how do you figure out, kind of using this cast rule, how do you figure out the 6 trig ratios? So let's say that I have a point. I'm not going to use the one in the example. I'm just going to make one up. Let's say we have point -3, 4. So if I was to draw that on my quadrants, and I'm going to kind of do it here, I know that it's going to be over here in this quadrant. So it's going to be out here at -3, 4. I know it's not exact, but that's the quadrant it will be in because x is negative, but y is positive. And then what they do is they draw the terminal arm from 0, 0 to 3, 4. Now, what we have is we have this side, which is 4. That's our y part of it. And then we have this, which is our x, and it's -3. So when they talk about what are the 6 trig ratios, what they want you to do is first find the hypotenuse. So we need to figure out what is this. So I'll do a little bit of calculation. -3 squared plus 4 squared. This is just the Pythagorean theorem. So 9 plus 16, which is 25. So C, That's c squared. So c equals 5. So now I know that this distance here is 5. So that's step number 1. And then step number 2 is just set up your ratios. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse. And in our case, that is 4 over 5. Cos A over... They use... I'm going to confuse it. This is actually y over r. And this is x over r. So x over r is negative 3 over 5. Notice this one is negative, and I expected that because we have C-A-S-T. Sine is positive. The rest of them are going to be negative. So cos and tan should be negative. And it is. Tan is y over x. So that's 4 over negative 3. So again, that one's negative. And then we just do our cosecant, which is just the opposite of sine. So 4 over 5. Secant, which is the cos one, negative 5 over 3. And cotangent, which is negative 3 over 4. So that is how we use those two numbers from the point. Find the hypotenuse, which is right here. And then once you have the hypotenuse, you have all three numbers, and you can set up all 6 ratios that are all right here. I hope that clarifies that part. And if you're still wondering about like the unit circle and whatnot, just reach out. I'll try and find you a video that's worth it to watch. Okay? Bye.